Saw the movie last night, by the way, in the 48 frame rate.
Yeah.
Have you seen it that way yet?
3 times.
It's incredible.
Yeah, and every time you see it, you have a completely different experience.
Right, because there's so much to see.
Yeah.
It almost feels like, I know it's a movie, but do you see it way outside of a movie in that kind of experience?
You know, that's what's quite difficult and something that you have to relinquish is that we were there when it was filmed.
Right.
So, obviously. And,
Clearly, I saw you on screen.
But weirdly enough, when you watch it at 48 frames, it is like we're back there. But I suppose because Peter creates the world when he's working, that you don't really feel like there's any acting happening. It's just he gives you such an imaginative landscape that
feels like organic, perhaps.
Yeah, but also, you know, I don't like to sort of pretend. I like to make it real for myself, and so. That's why the 48 frames, as an actor that was in it, sort of works for me because it's like being back there. Mm-hmm. But not on an acting level, you know, on a real level. Yeah.
You know, the physicality of your role, when you really sit through 2 hours and 50 minutes of watching what you're doing on screen, I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
I just got to think to myself that you're doing 100 takes of each.
Yeah.
How did you prepare for that, even before you began the shooting?
There was a lot of training. I mean, the walking, running as a dwarf, they have a different skeleton to humans. They're not really human dwarves. They're a completely different race. Mm-hmm. So there was a lot of physical work, strengthening the spine, working on the voice. We were protected from heat loss because we, losing body fluid, shall I say. Like our body temperature was kept cool by a racing driver's vest. Because we would constantly overheat. And I even started flicking through the internet trying to look for what foods I could eat to stop my blood from getting too hot, because we spent probably every single day feeling like you were overheating, so rather than overeating.
Really?
Although we did a lot.
Did you lose a bunch of weight in the shoot?
But no, it was interesting. It was an endurance test, and I think part of that bonding that happened between the dwarves was that endurance test. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, in looking at the background of a lot of the actors in the movie, a lot of you have really deep theater backgrounds.
Yeah, it's interesting. Peter seems to enjoy voices and faces and extraordinary faces. Yeah.
It almost seems, because of the grand scale of the movie and how big it is, that I kind of felt some of that theatrical or that stage performance that you guys brought beyond just normal screen acting. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think as well, if you're going to bring an actor in and kind of cover them in prosthetics and create almost like another creature for them to live inside.
Cocoon, right?
A cocoon.
Yeah.
A very naturalistic performance probably isn't going to push through that. So people with great voices and with expressive faces, he really needed that to bring those dwarves to life. And I think understanding that is part of Pete's genius, really.
And lastly, in your character, I was really trying to understand his motivation. Was it out of anger, or was there pride for his father? What was driving him?
I think the frustration of this ongoing, mortal combat between two characters. One character who has beheaded his grandfather, the king, and has sworn to wipe out the line of Durin. But also, the dwarves, these 13 dwarves that have come to this point in the quest and are being pushed and tested, that frustration at, you are not going to put my people through this 1 second longer, is what that end moment is about, I think, the end of the first film. We go a little bit further along the road.
Amazing movie. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Good seeing you.